Jamalov wrestled for Uzbekistan, Valiyev wrestled for Albania, Sabolov wrestled for Serbia. They all Ossetians from one room. They all trained Sedakov, Sabolov, Jamalov, Valiyev. They're from the same room.
Not the same town, the same room?
Same room, yeah.
They took an American and they dropped him off in Dagestan for a year. Will it really make them that much better?
I would say because you train in this environment, number one, it's a great partners. Dagestan, you don't have to worry about partners. You have 10, 20 partners, your weight class. It's all about money now, and that's what I don't like. So now every parent saying, oh, I raised my son, he's 15, but he can make money. He can make big money if his son was a good college. And then next college gonna, give more. So he's gonna go to next college. So what the value we're teaching those future leaders? What generation we're gonna have? That's my worry.
All right, Valentin, how's it going? Looking good with that sun in the background. It looks like you might have left. It looks like you might have left the New Jersey, New York area.
Yeah, I'm in California, Southern California. Actually.
Since when?
Oh, since I moved from New York in November, so since December.
I guess
enjoy weather.
The nice weather, being able to get in the ocean and on the sand
Every day.
Every day. It's good for you, right? Getting in the water, getting sun.
Oh yeah, I got used to running in the sand. Every morning
easy.
running in the sand. No, it's not easy, but it's good for you, for football. This I love walking out in the sand and having bungee with me and then jump to the ocean.
Now,
and I wish I could have people to develop right at the beach. I used to do it a lot with Helen. Before Olympics in 2016. It helped.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, being out there. Yeah. Well, so there it is. If you're a wrestling coach, wrestling parent, you want to get your kid out by Valentin, it could really help him, obviously. So now, when you're running on the sand, last question about this. Are you normally running on the soft sand, or are you running by the water where the sand's a little bit harder, or both?
Well, actually, ocean's breezing. One day you have a hard sand, and lately, actually, most of the time it's soft sand. So it's harder to run. It's way harder to run. But I run slow, I'm 67 this year.
Well, you don't look it. So 67 pull-ups isn't going to be easy this year.
No. I'm done. I'm retired on 65.
That's very good. Now, the next thing I saw is on your social media pages. It's pictures, videos, Frankie Chamizo. When did he get out there? How long was he there? What were you guys doing?
Frankie was 1 week with me. He supported my idea. Not only him, I'm going to bring Lado Hinchigashvili in a few days. And then later, after Kinshasa, maybe later, Petriashvili, my international guys. Why? I have a lot of friends internationally. And, I always been dreaming about Los Angeles Olympic Games. Been dreaming to have Olympic champs in Los Angeles, see what happened with Olympic champs. But it's my city. That's a place will accept me, as an immigrant. So I lived here since '94, and I really want to help wrestling community in this city. So I try to bring wrestling stars, kind of to a little bit push community toward international wrestling.
Now, these champions that you're bringing in, are they planning on still competing, or are they coaching, or are they doing clinics? Or are they just visiting you?
First of all, we have family. So they always visiting me. I visited them, they visited me. And when I ask for help, like I said, I need help as a coach. I just moved, so I need to bring community together. So Frankie said, absolutely. He just came, did actually for me for free. It's like, it's not about negotiation. It's about family. So he said, I'm Frankie, I'm not cheap, but for you, Valentin, it's like free. It's not like in the middle. So same actually. A lot of Hinchigashvili and Kinshasa, they're all my family. So
a lot of
they helping me. They're helping me a lot.
That's great. And because Frankie spent some time over at the Regional Training Center here in New Jersey, New York. New York.
Yeah.
What did he like better, California or New York?
He loves everything. He loves whatever is life. New York is a lot of life, California, it's a lot of life, but a little bit longer distance to get to get to real life. You know?
Yeah.
And he's Cuban. He loves this weather.
Yeah. Oh
So,
yeah, that's
but
true.
yeah, I know Frankie loves California as well.
Now you brought
Yeah.
up you brought up these high level wrestlers. We're talking Olympic champs, world
Yeah.
champs, and how you said about family and loyalty. We were talking a moment ago, jumping right into the controversial topics of the
Yeah.
NIL and all these transfers. I mean, and there's been a lot of I've heard different people say different things. Overall, I've kind of heard a much more negative vibe about this because of the loyalty aspect and people chasing money. It's nice to see wrestlers getting taken care of financially,
Absolutely.
of course. But talk about your views on this.
You know, I, you're absolutely right. It's nice wrestling getting recognition money wise, but we're talking about kids who is around 20 years old. At this point, money should not be important. At this point, money important when you're growing man around, in your career and after your career, so you can take care of family. Making money as you're young, thinking about money when you're 15, go to the school science scholarship, um, and get big money. I I'm not sure what we're trying to do, how we're gonna try to raise next generation, because in any sport, not only wrestling, the leaders like Olympic champ. So even you young Olympic champ, let's say you're Olympic champion, you're 20 years old. Who is gonna watch you? It's a kids 10 years old, 12 years old. You're the leader, you're the queen, king, whatever. And so if you start thinking about only money, who we gonna raise? It's not about competing for club, competing for city, competing for your country. It's all about money now, and that's what I don't like. So now every parent saying, "Oh, I raised my son. He's 15, but he can make money. He can make big money if his son was a good college." And then next college gonna give more, so he's gonna go to next college. So what the value we're teaching those future leaders? What generation we're gonna have? That's my worry. Because especially wrestling family, from my experience all over the world, it's about loyalty. That's how I know. I did not have many coaches. I had a one coach who brought me to wrestling. Then I still have him on my life, even though I was training with college who was in my college. So that's where like my two parents. They passed away. I go into the graveyard on their birthdays if I can, because one of them in Ukraine, one of them in US. So, and all of us like that. Lado Hinchigashvili, when he won Olympic gold, he put his money, he bought a bronze, and he made like a bronze monument of his coach in front of wrestling room. So that's how we grew up. So for me, it's kind of weird if you change coach every year for money. It's I, I'm not sure. Yeah,
Right.
I don't
No,
like it.
no, I know, and it's interesting because when we started talking about this topic, I was thinking about them developing as wrestlers. I said, how's
Yeah,
the I was thinking once I was thinking, how is this going to help them develop as wrestlers if
and
they keep jumping coaches? But you said, no, but what's it going to do to them as people, not just as
yeah,
wrestlers, as
as
people?
people, number one, because wrestling it's a great tool to raise, people. It's the wrestlers. It's the strongest people.
Mindset Monday is brought to you by our official sponsors, Eat Clean, bro. Make sure you order today, get them delivered right to your house, check them out, and make sure you put in your discount code MINDSET.
In the world. Like if you go internationally, the heroes of each, like heroes in America, heroes in Ukraine in the wars. It's a lot of wrestlers, who did something, during some situations when you gotta be brave, strong, and so on. Wrestlers usually is number one people, and with loyalty, with everything. And so that's my worry. I don't. Yeah, and then yeah, and as a coach as well, if I can coach person who just coming for me for money, and I know next year he's gonna leave because somebody gonna give him more. So how I gonna coach him? I don't know.
Right.
I'm not. Maybe I'm old generation guy. I don't know, but that's my value. So I would not feel comfortable if I know this person came not for me, he came for money. Because next year he might leave because somebody gonna get more money. And
Oh,
so for my coaching experience, I can coach person. I kind of establish contact. If I don't feel contact, if I don't feel he's my son or my daughter, like almost like student, I can coach.
yeah.
We're talking about, coaching when we're thinking about winning NCAA, winning World Championship, Olympic Games. That's the level of coaching. If you don't have this contact, I don't know how can you coach. So
Yeah.
maybe I have no experience having money contact. I don't know.
Well, you have what you have that most people here in America don't have is you have the international experience and you've been to different countries all over the world. So you have a
Yeah,
better understanding of what wrestling culture is like here, there, and most Americans, we've only been in America, so we think, "Oh, okay, this is how wrestling must be." But you could see how it is in America, Russia, Georgia,
yeah.
Italy, all these places. So you have a different perspective. You have that breadth of knowledge that we don't have.
Absolutely. And we're all human. So when you reach some goals, like you become world champ, Olympic champ in those countries, of course, wrestlers, they want to have something, and they deserve it. So yes, they making money at this point. Coaches who raise them making money. In fact, those Eastern European countries, there you can leave your coach, but the coach is still their coaches, and they whatever whatever athletes bonuses getting, a lot of countries going to coaches getting the same or 50%, and you can't change it. Even it's on the paper. That's your coach. Whatever you say, it's your coach.
Yeah,
So, but again, it's a system. But it's I think it's about loyalty. It's more about loyalty. You know,
absolutely. And
yeah. Right now, you probably heard in European Championship, 74 kilo. We have Jamalo wrestle for Uzbekistan, Vali wrestle for Albania, Sabolov wrestle for Serbia. They all Ossetians from one room. Sedakov wrestle. They all train. Sedakov, Sabolov, Jamalov, Valiyev. They're from same room and
not the same town, the same room.
same room. Yeah. So I mean, it's a town Vladikavkaz. They have coaches, but they have 1-2 rooms in the city. I went there in 2014 with Aaron Pico, Helen Marulis, Victoria Anthony, and Yelena Perushkova. So I saw it. They had 2 rooms, and that's where they train. And so I saw all those kids there when they were kids. Waleev, Jamal, I know Jamalov from Kasarud, sorry. Sidako, yeah. Aaron was training with Sidako, and Waleev was younger. So I saw them, but in the same time, they competing for different countries, but they bring home or to coaches to the club their medals.
Yeah,
Always. And so they proud, they compete pretty much for their club. So
Daniel
yeah,
Daniel Cormier just said there was an interview with him with one of the UFC fighters. Said, bring your kid to Dagestan for 3 years, leave him here, and then bring him back to America. And he said, no way. I said 6. He said he'll bring him for, what did he say, 2 weeks. If they took an American and they dropped him off in Dagestan for a year, will it really make them that much better? Are they are they
absolutely.
really are they really doing things that much better than we're doing here?
I would say because you train in this environment, number one, it's a great partners. It's a great partners. Here in US, we have, let's say you have a college, and then every college fighting to bring some athletes. So they have RTC, right? So they were partners. In
The time is now to take your mindset to the next level with Wrestling Mindset. Make sure you go to our website, wrestlingmindset.com, and sign up for your free trial session today. Don't wait any longer. You want the mental edge right now. You sign up for the free trial session, you're also going to get a copy of our free ebook, Building the Predator Mindset. This book has helped thousands of people build confidence, relax under pressure, get motivated, and build mental toughness in wrestling, school, and life. Make sure you sign up for your free trial session today.
Dagestan, you don't have to worry about partners. It's like you have 10, 20 partners in your weight class.
Wow.
Yeah. So I remember one time I was in Khasavurt, and actually was Aaron Pico with me and Michic. It was USA team, but they competed a tournament, Continental International Wrestling Khasavurt, and before tournament they had a camp, 2 weeks camp. So it was USA team. I was with a team, and I brought Aaron, and Michic also was with Aaron there, and I think it's changed a lot when they come back home. They saw different. They saw, how kids training. I mean, our kids, don't get me wrong. Our kids, intensity of training much higher than in Dagestan sometimes, but the quality of technique, drilling, when around you, people like Sati would come show, Batiro would show some moves. Uh, Trust me, it's a lot of technique, very
Yeah.
interesting technique.
Um,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Now talk about your development camps, what you have coming up. You got some things coming up, and
yeah, yeah. I'm proud what I do. I actually have my camps since 2000 2004. My first camp was 2004, before Olympic Games in Greece, in Kiev. So I had a camps in Ukraine, and then when I Highland start making and Aaron back then start making world team, Olympic team. Those years I could not make camps because I was busy summertime before World Championship, Yelena Pershkova as well. So I would stay in Colorado. But before 2012, I had those camps, and then 2013 I had camp, and then after, and then I started doing camps in Georgia and COVID. So then I had a break, you know. Yeah, so I doing those camps for more than 20, 22 years. Yeah. And so now, because we're in Ukraine, I started doing those camps. And actually, yeah, not only that, I started doing those camps in Georgia. And with Georgia, I have a great connection with, Lado Hinchigashvili, Gino Petriashvili. Lado, he's a godfather of my son, youngest son. And so we staying in the city of Gori, which is like 50 minutes from Tbilisi, capital of Georgia. And we stayed in hotel literally 3 minutes walk from the wrestling room, and this wrestling room best in Georgia. And Georgia as a team last year they won as a team world championship,
yep.
and they also did well at the Olympics in Paris. And they have a great Greco team, they have a great freestyle team, and they have a great judo team. And it's a population of 3 million people. It's
Wow.
all Georgia. And so Gori, it's a number one club. Lado
Yeah.
Hinchigashvili from that club, Gino Petriashvili from that club, and it's a lot of cadet and junior world placers there. A lot.
Wow.
So to me, it's a great camp because, again, we just stay there in a hotel. It's a private hotel, so we have a 3 times Georgian meal, made like a home meal, and then we're training. Practice before breakfast outdoor, with a mountain view. And so we study position, no throws because there's no mat, it's outdoor. But a lot of position, fighting, hand fighting, technique. And then after breakfast, I have a great practice with the Georgian kids. So it could be 100 people all together. And you
Yeah.
can maybe wrestle Olympic champ, or maybe wrestle Georgian champ, or cadet world champ, or European champ. So it's really intense practice. And then around 5 6 p.m. we have a practice just technique. So it could be this year. It could be Gino Petriashvili or Lado Hinchigashvili, or after Kinchadze, after gonna be with me every day. He just won world championship. He will be there, my assistant. So I think it's a great camp. I love it. Myself, I love it.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah. So people did definitely need to go there. I know the Worthies were over there. The Worthies have been doing great in all
Yeah,
their youth tournaments. They
and
looks
and
like they're dominating.
and,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it's the the Georgian club in Gori, you can compare with the Hassan. I would say so. It's
Yeah.
very popular. Like all city knows those wrestlers. It's a wrestling city.
That's nice.
Yeah, even a lot of Hinchigashvili, he was years mayor of the city. Now he just left because he became a congressman in Georgia. But he was a
Oh,
mayor of the
nice.
city.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so it's a wrestling city. Yeah.
Really nice. And then finally, last question that I had for you was about so Andy Barth is bringing. He wants you to do some stuff with Team USA Greco. Talk about that.
Yeah, my passion is Greco. I love Greco. And my coaching style in freestyle came from Greco, from pressure, from tie-ups, so all my students who got gold medals, they use tie-ups, pressure. It's kind of I create as a Greco coach. I create my freestyle understanding of wrestling. Uh so yeah, I love Greco, and finally he said, uh how just try to figure out how would you able to help Greco, in Olympic City. It's so I'm thinking, anybody, if you guys listen to this interview, reach me out if you have any ideas. I try to get an idea. As for right now, it's hard to, the people who are gonna compete Olympics is probably already, it's a team what we have today or a little bit younger. But I also thinking more about development team, because if you watch the history of Olympic Games, it's not necessarily that year, but like 4 years later, the team of that country where they had Olympics performed well. I remember South Korea. They have no Greco, but when we had Olympics in Seoul, 1988, then they had started getting Olympic champs. And it's historically like that, because they try to sometime they doing great at home, but most of the time what I see, they doing even better after Olympics, like next Olympic cycle. So to me, like I said, Los Angeles is Olympic City, and I'm I try to get ideas. So one of the ideas, I see how to get those future stars. So
Yep.
it's a kind of development program. And one of my ideas, since I know since I know how to develop kids when you travel, like with Aaron or Amit, so it's pretty much you take an independent study, or
Right.
homeschool, whatever you call. It's a lot of different systems, probably, especially after COVID. And so find this group of kids, but obviously kids who would be capable in the future to be a world and Olympic champs,
Right.
and the kids who would dedicate their life, I mean, young life, to be world and Olympic champ, and maybe give up an idea to compete for college, for NCAA.
Right.
Just thinking about Greco and travel. So you give up your idea being a collegiate wrestler,
Yep.
but your dream is, at this point, travel world, get education as you travel, and become world and Olympic champ. Now, uh, it's hard to sell this idea, because how you're not
Right.
going to college, right? Now the question, now, how you're not going to college? Well, I think you should go to college. You should be a great student. Like I know Ami, she's a great student. She done all her classes online, and then you can take college classes online. You can get a bachelor degree online. And I think we should find again, the system.
And a big shout out to our sponsors, Eat Clean Bro and Champion Athletes. You need to eat like a champion to think like a champion. Mindset makes the difference.
And I need help here. Find system where you can get a college degree, at least bachelor degree online. I think
Right.
this system exists. I remember when I was coaching Yelena Pershkova, she was a resident at Colorado. So she was training, competing internationally, and she graduated from college online, and I think USA Wrestling paid for it. Again, I'm not sure exactly, but I need find out the systems and kind of create maybe couple at least one development program like that, like traveling development program, and start
Mhm.
from there. I think, from my experience, in when I was coaching Aaron Pico in 2014, we were in Bulgaria, and I met Japanese kids who was doing girls and boys. They were doing Greco, freestyle, and girls obviously freestyle. And so they had the coaches, and then they had the one guy. He was a translator, and he spoke perfect Russian. I actually saw he's Russian, and so I started talking to him, and that was a pretty much traveling team. So they went together. They stayed in Bulgaria for training, and again, and boys did Greco, girls and the other boys did freestyle. And then, unfortunately, I don't remember exactly those names, but after that, I saw those people winning all the Olympics.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
so I saw them winning Olympic gold in Greco, and
There's a way yeah, we got to do things differently if we're trying to win Olympic gold medals, because you can't keep going back and forth with freestyle and scholastic. I know we've had people who were successful, but I think
yeah,
but that's not the ideal model.
it's not ideal, of course. I mean, we have a lot of. I think USA have way more wrestlers than anybody in the world. You think in Russia it's in big in wrestling, it's not. It's Ossetia and Dagestan. It's a Ossetia, Dagestan. You probably can make 3 hours from Ossetia to Dagestan all the way. It's not big.
Yep.
The rest of the Russia, it's also Yakutia have a small weight classes, and that's it. I think. Yeah, few more places, but not much. So in America, we see nationals at 25 mats. I never seen it in my life like that.
No.
So we have a lot of wrestlers. That's why we can find some kids, gifted kids, but as a system, you can compare Georgia, 3 million people, and you see the result. So
Right.
system, same Cuba. Cuba is also an interesting country. I would love to, in the future. I was talking to Chamizo, create something, take kids not necessarily to Europe, take into Cuba if we can. Again, it's a visa and all this stuff. We gotta figure out how. But traveling team and train with Cuban kids, I think is great because they have also like a Soviet system,
Yep.
Cuban guys. So Greco and freestyle. So that's what I'm thinking, and bring those stars to LA and try to figure out. I just came back last week. I went to Concord. Robbie Smith ran tournament, so I helped him. I brought people from Poland and Germany, and so also thinking about exchanging programs. Go there, stay in Europe and train. Also I have a connections in Georgia, Azerbaijan. Unfortunately, Ukraine is a war. Russian fighting. So, but I have all this. We can do that. It's just we gotta find right people with their goals, and they would understand what really we want. And again, I want make sure that they get education. It's not like they wrestle Greco and give up everything. Education is number one because again, wrestling is a tool to be a great person. It's not wrestling for wrestling.
Yep.
We are coaches, so we need to think about future generations. We are coaches, we are parents. So it's not about only, to win everything when you're 20 years old. It's about all your life. So
Right.
that's important for me.
No, I think that's great, and I think that's a great way to leave it too, because we kind of started talking about how to develop good people, And now, so we have nice bookends on it about developing and looking at them all around. And the interesting thing, I'm sure a lot of parents would probably, or coaches might look at you and think, well, he's just going to focus on the wrestling, and nothing could be further from the truth in all
Yeah.
and all of our time talking about this, really caring about the kids. So I think that's awesome. So thanks,
I
Valentin.
think,
Yeah.
wrestling is the greatest tool to be a great
Yes.
person. It's not about wrestlers to become a wrestler. It's not the goal. It's not the goal. I mean, of course, Olympic, for
Yeah.
coaches and athlete, Olympic gold is a goal,
Right.
but it's not a goal of your life. So it means if you win Olympic gold when you're 20 years old, you're ready to die. No, right? So it's just, and so you just lead the way for next generation. But wrestling is a great tool to become a great person. That's what I see.
Absolutely. Thank you, Valentin. Let's do it again next week or the week after.
Oh,
We can dive
absolutely.
into some more juicy topics.
Yeah, love to talk to you. That's what I
Absolutely.
love about New Jersey, people like you.
Thank you. Coming from you, that's quite a compliment. Thank you, Valentin. Have a great night.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.